Hey, it's been a while. I definitely didn't, forget about you all. Yeah, I've had stuff to do, I guess. Oh, alright then, let's just get into this video. And today, we're going to be doing some more Yavatiak, which makes sense, seeing as you've probably read the title. And today, we're going to be doing on declining nouns. Noun declension, adjectival declension, all of that kind of weird stuff. You'll see. Now, as you all found out, in order to use a verb in Yavatiak, you need to change the word a bit, because you would find an infinitive, which is like, a base stem word, and then you'd have to change it to make it fit the context you want. The same has to happen with nouns. We're going to show you an example. As we said, every word in Yavatiak has various variants that you can put to it. And for example, today we're going to be using the example of digai, which is the infinitive of box. And I mean box as in like the box, not as in like the sport. Now, obviously, this has a verbal form. So in English, this would probably translate as, to box something up. Put something in a box. I don't know. But yeah. So that would be die. However, it's also important to remember that it would have noun forms as well, like what an actual box is, or what the person who's doing the boxing up is, or what the action is. So we're going to explore that today. Here we have a chart of various nouns that we could derive from digai, or from box. For example, digat is for the participant. This means that this is the boxer-upper, effectively. Digan is the objective. In this case, that would be the literal box. Digan would be a box, in other words. Action is, so the action of boxing up. We could call it, I don't know, boxization, or I don't know, something of the sort. Well, that would be simply diga. Finally, which is like the to remember that in Yavatiak, adjectives and adverbs have the same endings. It only depends in what context they're used. So digak could mean boxy. If that's even a word in English, it's not, but it is in Yavatiak, so deal with it. Or it could be boxly. It's important to note that the adjectival could be in labeling something as similar to the objective, or the participant, or the action, but probably not the participant. So yeah, probably like the objective or the action, pretty much. If you get what I'm saying. So let's put this into an example. Here we have the words that we want. So digan is obviously the verb for, or the word, the noun for a box. And obviously digat is the verb for a boxer-upper. So this sentence along the bottom, if you can see it, 1 second. Here we go, this one. Yeah, that literally translates as the boxer-upper boxes up a box. Yeah, it's a little strange, but we'll go through it. So obviously here is the literal box, and here is the boxer-upper. Notice how instead of saying digo or diggy or digu, like a verb, we insert, with apostrophes, we insert the actual subject. We name the subject here. We can do this in Yavatiak. And of course the F symbolizing that it's future, in this case the boxer-upper will box up a box. That's there too, that comes afterwards. But believe it or not, that's not the only thing you can do to your noun, and your noun can be in various cases. So even when you've found out which noun you want to use, be it objective or participant or whatever on earth you want to use, then you have to give a case to it. So let's go through these. We've already pretty much been through the nominative and the accusative, because you really don't have to do anything to those cases in order to make them. However, for all the other cases, you have to add something between the stem and the ending. So it's between, for example, the dig and the at, or the dig and the in order to get the case you want. Let's give some examples. If you put the word digan in the dative, then you're effectively saying to the box. You don't use the words to and the in Yavatiak because there are literally no words for them. Instead, you have to change the case of digan, and that is what we're going to do for dative. What you do is you place an AV in the middle between the dig and the ending, which of course in this case is an. So that would be the ending that you would put in for dative would be avan. To give an example of the ablative, for example, then we could turn to something like, for example, by the boxer upper, or with the boxer upper, and that would be, and that you would add a different ending in between the at and the dig. I will now show you. Yep, alright. Now for the additive. This is used if you're saying and the box. Alternative is or the box. Explanative is because of the box. Or let's say in this case because of the boxation. Let's do it that way. Include, for example, as we've put here, which is in the box. And relative, which is the final one, is used for when you would use which, but don't worry about it, this is more complex stuff. So, for example, that example would mean which the box. However, there's one principal case which we're missing out, and that is the genitive. The genitive is by far the most used case. So, how do you make it? So what does it do? It is if you're saying of something. So, for example, the house of the box, which would be the ending you would add to the word box would be as follows. Yep, you would add ak, but you wouldn't add it at the end because that would make it a adjective or an adverb, and you don't want to do that. But yeah. And if there are any other words that you can think of that usually come before the noun to clarify its position or etc., it's usually used in Yavatiak as an adverb or adjective, so don't worry about it. But these are the cases you need to know. These can be applied to any noun, etc., but in this case we're just applying it to box, because why not? Glory to Box Empire or whatever. So I guess hopefully now you'll be able to understand Yavatiak nouns and, I don't know, other stuff later. Next time we'll talk a bit about word order and fitting it into a sentence if you don't know how to do that already. And yeah, see you all next week if I ever think of making a Yavatiak video. Goodbye, have time.